So this video is just my reactions and connections to the book that I read in my last video. And something I really connected with is that he repeatedly says he likes to do basketball and he likes, going to school. I think that's what was so confusing in my journey, is that I would feel what I thought was just really nervous when I knew I was liking the things I was nervous about. I would, go and make plans with a friend, and then I was sitting there all day until it happened, like freaking out. And when someone's like, well, what's the worst that can happen? I always felt like, I don't know, or like a panic attack could happen. And something my therapist said is like, I spend every day worrying that the panic attack's going to happen, but the chances of it happening are, very slim. So, why worry about something that most likely is not going to happen? Think of all the days you have not had a panic attack and all those days wasted worrying about having one. And that's where I was just so confused. It's like, why am I anxious to do things, and then I do the thing and I love it, and then I'm still anxious next time I go to do it? It doesn't make sense to me, because I feel like I'm proving to my brain that this is not threatful. You chose to hang out with this person. You is it the fear of the unknown? And I can't stress enough that, like, I love socializing. I love going to parties. And when I was in high school, if we were going to a party, like, I would have to pace the room back and forth and either feel like I'm going to throw up for a few hours or actually throw up. And then I'd go and I'd have fun. Sometimes I remember before the school bus coming in middle school, I would just quickly go to the sink and throw up. And then I get on the bus and it's like nothing happened, because it became normal. And it was always like my body was trying to like warn me that every day you wake up, something bad could happen. And even if I'm not like actively thinking like that, it was just this heavy gravity feeling, chest tight, very tight. And I just became so accustomed to living with it, hiding it, trying to trick the person I'm with that I'm not feeling that way. And I don't think that makes me fake, because I truly am enjoying my time, but it is in the back of my head. I also really like having control. In middle school, if a friend's mom was driving, or, we're in the mall with a friend's mom, like, I like knowing when I'm going to eat. My eating has a lot to do with my anxiety, which I will make another video about. I don't like not being in control. I feel like in the book, when he says, I just want to escape, that's one of my biggest triggers. I've mentioned in my first video ever, that I felt very stuck at a chorus concert because of the social pressure that you have to stand in this third row and you can't leave. You cannot leave. Like, you are in a concert, and I loved the concerts when I was little. So why I'd have like a battle in my head, like, I feel weird. No, maybe I don't. No, I feel weird. And then the inner monologue would just stop and my body would just choose to walk off the stage. It's like, I can't stand there. Just because I'm saying that I haven't had like a paralysis panic attack in a year, that doesn't mean that I haven't fought so many of them. And that's exhausting. And I am winning, but it's still, I think of anxiety as a person, and it's kind of saying like, hey, like, I came, and I'm like, you were not invited. Like, you were staying at home or wherever. You're not coming. And then she'll like sneak up on me and like tap me on the shoulder. Like, it seems like you're having fun. Like, do you remember me? And that's where it's like, why would I be anxious to have fun? And why do I feel the need to escape? something that really triggers me is if I'm having a conversation with someone and I will enjoy the conversation, but if we said goodbye or like hugged and said goodbye and then the other person starts like talking again, I I feel stuck. I feel like we've said goodbye. I have to go on with whatever I was doing, and you're still talking, and I do not want to be rude, and I don't want to hurt your feelings by just leaving. There's times where I feel like, scheduled conversations, like a Zoom call as a teacher. I'm like, if I'm in an enclosed room, like I got to get out of there. I don't like it. It's just something I've learned that heightens the anxiety. It's very hard for me to relax. I have this aura ring that connects to my phone and it tells me like tons of health things with my sleep and everything, but it also tells me when I'm restored, relaxed, engaged, or stressed. And since having this in July, I think I've been restored like twice. And I'll be like on the couch watching Real Housewives with my pets, relaxing. And I think I'm relaxing, but my body is physically showing me that I'm not even in a relaxed state of mind because I'm used to so much stimulation. It's not just as a kindergarten teacher, it was my pre-K days. It's, being a camp director. Like I'm always on. And I find that I actually don't panic in real emergencies. I When I have that fight or flight real emergency, like I was in a car accident in November, or last week I came home and it was 101 degrees in my apartment. My air conditioner was on, but it broke. So my phone was telling me it was 76 degrees in my house. And I came home and the floors were burning hot. And my animals were in this house that was 101 degrees for like 4 hours. And my ferret looked like she was going to die any second. My black chihuahua was panting with like I couldn't control it. And in that moment, it's like it's fight or flight. I feel like my house is on fire. I'm grabbing all the living things and I'm going to my car and we're going to turn the AC on and I got to figure this out. But I'm not anxious in those moments. I'm not panicking. I'm acting. I'm solving. And it's those little moments of something that might sound exciting can make me feel really anxious. A party planned like in 3 months, that makes me feel anxious because it's so far away and I have to think about it now for 3 months. So yeah, I just really relate to like the escape line, the line about it's not just being nervous. I remember being like 3 years old in ballet and going to my recital and thinking like, I'm naturally nervous. And I remember thinking, I never want to feel this feeling ever again in my life. I hate it. And the irony is I felt it majority of my life for the next 26 years daily. And it's because the signals in my brain are just literally telling me like you're in danger when I'm not. So yeah, that's really just like my connection with the book. I've had my brother ask me years ago, like, what even is anxiety? And it just baffled me because I share the DNA with him, and you're asking what something is that I'm battling every single day. Like, I thought everybody has anxiety, I just have it worse. And I don't understand. I almost feel like when you meet anxiety, like you unlock the meaning of it, it can kind of consume you. Like now, I am noticing I'm feeling anxious. Now I understand what it is. And then I get anxious about feeling anxious, or I'd get anxious about having a panic attack. And that became a cycle where I didn't want to go places or do things. And it is debilitating. And in that Inside Out movie, with anxiety, my cousin hi Jules, was like, what's anxiety? And I was like, I don't even know how to answer that. Like, it's nervousness, but it's not. It lingers and lingers, and like, what a blessing to have to ask what it is how I felt. And I was envious that, like, another friend of mine in high school said, like, they've never been anxious. And I'm like, I think of it as like having to use the bathroom. Like, if you have to pee all day, it's in the front of your head. Like, I can't focus. I have to pee. And that's how I feel with anxiety. It's like, well, I'm really anxious right now. Like, we could pretend I don't have to use the bathroom, and we could pretend I don't have anxiety right now. But this is a need. I don't feel comfortable. And, I want to make more videos about, like, what has affected it. I really like being in control. And I know that, like, if I'm at a weekend at a beach with friends and they, like, decide to eat at like 7 o'clock, it's like, I'm the kind of person, sometimes I have to eat at 5:30 because I have low blood sugar. I have hypoglycemic symptoms. Like, I've been wearing a Dexcom a lot this year and tracking my blood sugar. So I know it goes hand in hand with my anxiety. And I don't like the feeling of, like, well, everyone said they're not hungry, so now I'm not going to speak up and say how much I need to eat. And I do that a lot with, like, trying to make the other person happier. If I'm feeling really hot and they say, like, they're cold, I won't dare say, like, can we open the window? Because I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. Like, I rather myself feel uncomfortable. And my therapist is, like, pointing that out, that in multiple situations throughout my life, I don't advocate for myself. I don't care when someone's late. But if I'm late, it's a very anxious feeling. My whole day's off. I need to speak out on my needs and maybe be a little bit more selfish, but that's very hard for me. I mean, I like taking away others' problems. I like helping people. I don't like others to be in pain or distress because I feel like I can handle it. So I rather me just take it, and then this way I feel better because they, like, feel better. So yeah, I definitely want to go into more about empathy because looking back at my life, it goes from very young of having this empathetic personality. And I'd like to dive deep with that and what that looks like in childhood, because I see a lot of kids that do not think like that. And then I do see children that think like that. And it's just interesting. It's like, is that in you from day one? Because I feel like you can't really teach empathy. It's kind of like a perspective. I remember the day I was in elementary school and looking around the room and thinking each person I see is inside of themselves, and they see me and then all the other people. And then the next person sees me and then all those people. Like, as a child, I was always aware that there are so many different levels of energies in the same room. And it's really hard for me to take on because there's so much going in this brain. How could I just pass all these people throughout my life and not be like, if this is happening in my brain, like, what's happening in your brain? Like, I just feel their energy. And yeah, so I'm going to stop here, but I do want to say that, look at all of the serial killers in life. They all lack empathy. So it's not a bad thing. There's a concert going outside my house every Tuesday. So I'm going to stop this. Okay, thank you.